Howdy, folks. Howdy from Austin, Texas, y'all.
Howdy!
You're watching The Critic and the Professor. I'm Doug Van Pelt. I'm the Critic. That's Peter Emerson, the Professor. Thanks for watching The Critic and the Professor. Hope you dig this show.
Dig it.
Yeah, baby.
Dig it, Doug. Dig it. I dig it.
Dig Doug. Let's go to rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Okay, so rapid fire is the segment where we fire off questions really quickly and then take our time answering them. So there's not much that's rapid about rapid fire, but it's still fun, and we're going to do it. Okay, so let me ask you a question here, Doug.
Go for it.
Okay, so if we do
We're
that,
good.
there we go.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Which musician would you most like to have as a next door neighbor, and why?
Well, the easy answer is a rich, successful musician, because that would improve my neighborhood, or mean I lived in a nice neighborhood and made more money since I was living next to a very rich person. Yeah. Unless he or she was like posing as a normal middle-class person.
Posers.
Yeah. Which musician would I most like to live next door? Well, so
yeah,
I would want the Scorpions to live next to me, because I have a set list I want them to play.
Oh, yeah?
I want to hear the Unbreakable and the Humanity Hour 1 albums played back to back, with a couple hit songs like We'll Burn the Sky and The Zoo thrown in for good measure.
I have to say I'm not familiar with those albums. I'm familiar mostly with their big hits from the 80s.
Yeah.
Were these albums later?
They were much later. They were well after the Scorpions should have been making music from a snob's viewpoint. That metal is done with. It's not being made anymore, especially that kind of. They defied all that criticism around 2004.
Oh, no way.
They released the album Unbreakable, and they just went back to doing what they do good.
They rocked you like a hurricane.
They weren't trying to be modern. They weren't trying to be what the flavor of the month was. It was like they were following up the Blackout album with this. It was just Unbreakable is phenomenal. And then they went a couple years after that, they hired Dieter Dierks, who produced and co-wrote a lot of Aerosmith hits. I'm sorry. They hooked up with Desmond Child, who worked with Aerosmith and doing a bunch of hits. And they recorded the Humanity Hour 1, which was thrown out there as a concept album about a future world, but it's really a breakup album. The songs are all about relationships, and it's the Scorpions at their best. They peaked in the mid '80s, and they peaked again in the mid 2000 aughts.
Oh, that's crazy.
Amazing albums. I could go on forever about this, because it's really, nobody knows about those albums, because nobody's expecting the Scorpions to do anything great. They want to hear the hits. They don't care about new music, which is a challenge for artists.
That's a shame. That is a shame.
Yeah, but these albums are just head and shoulders above 90% of their catalog.
Yeah, of course, I had no idea that they were doing any of this, because after the 80s, I just kind of went in a different direction anyway and wasn't really listening to that. And as our audience knows, and as you know, the hard music wasn't really my thing anyway. But yeah, no, that's great to hear. And without getting too tangential here with the Scorpions and your new found next door neighbors, what's their Christian story? What's the makeup there?
Well, Matthias Jabs, who is the guitar player who stepped in to fill Uli John Roth's shoes, which is like replacing Jimi Hendrix in a band, he did a phenomenal job. And Michael Schenker played on that first album after Uli left. He's brothers with Rudolf Schenker, the rhythm guitar player for the Scorpions. Anyway, so I interviewed Matthias Jabs of the Scorpions around 2005-06, and I asked him, what do you think about Jesus Christ? Which is a standard question in my Rock Stars on God interviews with major rock bands, and he said, Jesus is my hero. Thinks a lot of him, and grew up with an upbringing. And so that's what he said. It's in print.
It is in
for
print.
the record.
It is in print for the record. It
Yeah.
might not be on book volume 3, but it is there somewhere.
Yeah.
Is it in volume 3?
You know, I think it is. It would be right here on the cover if it was. Scorpions, there it is.
There it is.
Next to Cinderella and Savatage and Kansas and Styx and Korn.
Very cool.
So many bands in there, 25 in all.
So many bands. So many bands.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic answer, and I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, it was my question to you about next door neighbors.
Yeah.
There
and
you go.
You know, my mascot in high school
Rapid fire.
was a Scorpions. So I'm a Scorpion. So
Oh, very
I'd get
cool.
along with them really well.
I was a Maple.
Oh, the Michigan Maples.
The Adrian Maples. My
Right.
my high school mascot was a leaf.
Okay. All right.
We were tough.
Yeah. Those tough leaves.
The mighty Maples.
So, Peter?
Yeah.
If you had to relive one of the two following musical disasters, which would you rather be? Billy Squier and his ill-fated T-shirt on MTV, or a member of Milli Vanilli for lip syncing?
My goodness.
Pick your poison, brother.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so very much for this question. You know, I would have to say, you know, Billy Squier did rock.
Yeah.
He did rock.
Yeah.
And I believe that he was kind of put in a position with that music video that didn't show him in a very good light. And I don't necessarily think that was representative of him or his body of work, to be honest with you. Whereas he had talent.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli, yeah, they were posers the entire time. So
They looked cool.
did they? I don't know.
They had dreads,
Yeah.
weaves, whatever you call them.
So I would have to say, even though Billy Squier was that video was pretty gay, I would have to say I'd suffer through the Billy Squier for that, because at least he had genuine talent.
Yeah. Don't Say No and Emotions in Motion were two rockin' albums back to back.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very very cool.
Yeah.
Little insider baseball here. We've talked about this several times outside of the podcast, and he decided to spring it on me here in front of the camera.
A music business disaster.
Yeah.
On MTV, no less.
On MTV, no less. And that just goes to show you that MTV giveth and taketh away
Yeah.
in a huge way, depending on what you did with it, because it was no longer just about the music, because that song is a really, really good song. I think it's a good song. It's just the video, oh man, making you prance around in your room like that and pulling at your shirt and all of that, and oh, just no. That person should have been fired and never had another job.
Yeah, Billy Squier's ex-manager.
The manager or the director, whoever they got to direct that music video. Whew. So yeah. Well, there you go.
You ready to move on?
I'm so ready to move on.
Okay, thankfully.
Okay, this is my question to you, I guess. What is the food or a food that you hated as a child, but now you love?
Wow. A food I hated is, I was a very picky eater when I was a kid. I didn't even like pizza until I went to a birthday party at Shakey's up in Virginia.
Wow.
And I never liked rice and beans of the Tex-Mex variety, brown rice and charro beans.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that now. So it shocked me to ever give it a try. But part of being a grown up, I think,
Yeah.
is to try some new food and see what you've been missing. And I've turned over a new leaf.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was a new day for me when I discovered that I loved Brussels sprouts.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh my gosh.
I've had
I couldn't
them
imagine
before.
eating that as a child, though.
Oh yeah. I discovered the joy of Brussels sprouts on a diet, having to eat lots of vegetables.
Yeah.
And man, it was like having French fries almost. It's just really tasty.
So good.
It hit the spot.
Yep.
I think here in Austin, Texas, where we live,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the best spot in the world for food because we have two native cuisines here. We have barbecue, which is brisket beef predominantly,
Yep.
done so well, and Tex-Mex. Not just Mexican food like you have in California, which is a little saucy.
That's like Baja.
Tex-Mex is a little drier, although there's plenty of salsa and sauce, but it's not as saucy as genuine Mexican food or Californian Mexican food. So we have Tex-Mex and Texas barbecue here as native, and everything else we import. Pizza, Italian, Japanese, Thai, whatever, bring it all in.
It's all here.
So it's a great place to live if you like food, and who doesn't like food?
Dead people.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. You got one more for me?
I've got two more, bro.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, fire away.
So, Peter, the first time you learned something about God from the words of a song.
I've been in the church my entire life. I'm very fortunate that way, is that my parents raised me in the church. And so, I was steeped in the Methodist hymnal at that point.
Good stuff.
And all of the hymns of Charles Wesley.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, with the most of the hymnals that I've encountered, especially growing up and things like that, very, very first song, "Holy, Holy, Holy." So I just kind of have to point back to the hymnal, and I like to say that that in the faith we have more than just the Bible. I mean, the Bible is obviously the Word of God, but the hymnal is also incredibly instructive, because those songs all point back to the Bible in like glimpses. It's like when when I was talking about writing "He Rules the World," and I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to use all these hymns and I'm going to put them together, and I referred to them as stained glass windows. So a stained glass window, a hymn is like a stained glass window. It's a glimpse into a fixed moment in the overarching story of God's wonder in creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I used the Christmas hymns to line them all up together, using, "He Rule," or "A Joy to the World," and "Away in the Manger," and they're all just different parts of the same story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really view the hymnal as the same way. So it's not necessarily me listening to a recording. I think that was probably what you were getting at, but I really have to go back to the hymnal, and and just gaze at that and wonder at that, and then you look at "Holy, Holy, Holy," and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's it's all over the Bible, but man, it really jumps out at you in Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right there. It's like, oh, that's really, really cool. So I'd have to say that, the hymnal is the second most important book that we have. And the hymnal, not necessarily given to us directly from God, but it's inspired people to put things together based on what God has revealed to them through music.
Yeah. What a gift.
Absolutely. Okay. A question for you, perhaps, then.
Yeah.
If ghosts are real, why aren't there dinosaur ghosts?
Ooh. Well, ergo, ghosts aren't real.
Except the Holy Ghost.
Maybe there is. Maybe there are dinosaur ghosts. We just have not seen them.
Ooh.
You ever been scared out in the woods? Roar! Maybe that was a T-Rex or...
Maybe so.
My dad showed me a video this past weekend of kind of a dinosaur that didn't live not too long ago, which kind of defies. I want to say sarcophagus, but it's not that. It's got a couple words put together. It sounds like that. A big old dinosaur with a mouth that kind of curves down, and it was only discovered not too long ago, and it's not too old based upon where it was found and what tissue and bones and stuff they have.
Does it look like a giant anteater or something like that?
Like an anteater alligator. Sort of.
Anteater alligator.
It's kind of more like alligator. All right, you ready for your last question, Peter?
I am ready. Fire away.
Okay. Tell me about the greatest moment on stage with Voyager.
Okay. So Voyager, if you were paying attention in episode 11, I revealed that I was in a band in high school that we called Voyager. We started out calling the band Dawn Voyager.
Ooh.
And then we dropped the Dawn part of it and just became Voyager. And we were pretty solid throughout all of high school. We actually formed loosely when I was in 8th grade, and then stayed all the way through high school with a couple of our members, Dana Gillen and Andy Jones, being a couple years older than us, than Brian Kleinsmith and myself, graduated but stayed in the band, which was really unique because they went off to do other things and then still came back and were part of the band, and we were really cool. We were rocking. I've got some pictures that I'll share with you here. Yes, there it is. That's me with a mullet. That's right. Looking super fly.
Excellent.
Super fly. That's right. Business in the front and party in the back.
Yeah.
And we went, and Brian and I were the primary songwriters, and Dana wrote as well. And we hit it big when we raised money. I went around our high school and it was almost like a give, send, go kind of, or GoFundMe kind of thing. And I went to people and I said, hey, look, we're going into a studio and we're going to record a demo. We're going to record a bunch of songs on a cassette, because it was that time, it was probably, I think it was 1985, maybe. Yeah. Which is a good year for Doug.
Yeah.
And I went around high school with this notepad, and I was like, all right, so if you give us X amount of dollars, if you give us $5, $10 or whatever like that, to help us pay for this recording session, you will get a signed cassette when we're done with it. And I raised like $500.
Wow.
Just walking around the high school with other students and teachers and stuff. And that's a big deal, and that's a lot of money in 1985.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're doing this. And I always had that drive to think big and beyond what I had available to me. I've always done that, and I'm still doing that. I'm like, well, I don't have all of these resources, but I'm going to put this together, and I did that with He Rules the World, and now I'm doing it with a new project that we're going to talk about at some point, and so I did it with Voyager, and so we did that recording, and that was a really, really big deal because we were in southeastern Michigan, and we crossed state lines into Toledo, Ohio, to go to this home studio of this guy, Mike Lorenz, and we recorded the songs down there in his basement, in his studio, on I think it was 8-track tape.
Oh, wow.
And mixed it all down, and they sounded really great, and we were going places. And then, we played all of our high school's prominent assemblies.
All right.
So they had an assembly for the homecoming and for the winter carnival and so on and so forth, and we would do these mini rock shows in front of the entire student body
In the middle of the school day.
In the middle of the school day,
Yeah.
and we would come in, and I was building light towers and things like that out of Maxwell coffee cans, the round metal coffee cans, and I'd put a light fixture in them, put them in a tower and a colored light bulb and all of that, and we'd have different switches, and I built this circuit board and all of that, so somebody could sit there and just flip these light switches so that the lights did different sequences and stuff.
All right.
MacGyver. I was the MacGyver of the music business
Rock and roll.
when I was growing up, and that was just the height of it, because everybody in the school knew who I was and all of that. So when you asked me before if I'd been picked on for the music and things like that, no, because I was doing all these cool things, and I think that people saw that stuff was cool, and so they left me alone for the musical theater part of it.
Right on.
Maybe so. Our highlights beyond recording and playing at the assemblies was that we did a Foodland tour.
Ooh.
So that means that we played at 2 different Foodland grocery stores, because they were having events at these grocery stores, and I don't even remember how we got hooked up into that. I don't think I booked those shows, but we performed on the back of flatbed trucks
In the parking lot.
Right
on.
at 2 different Foodlands, one in Adrian, Michigan, and the other one in Tecumseh, Michigan, which is about 20 miles away. So that was our tour. We were on tour.
All right.
Yeah. And I think, and we were good enough musicians, and our material was young and good enough, but I think that if we had lived somewhere else, that we could have had a real shot. If we had lived in Detroit, maybe, if we had lived in Chicago or on the coast, if we were in LA or New York or Boston, whatever, we would have had a shot at getting noticed and getting signed or something like that. I thought that we were capable of heading in that direction. In fact, all 4 of us from the band are still involved in music. Brian, our guitar player, Brian Kleinsmith, went on to study Chinese and now teaches Chinese language in a high school in Michigan, but he still writes his own music and records his own music, goes to a lot of concerts, very musically inclined, really very fine musician. Our bass player, Dana Gillen, is still playing in bands and whatnot, and he's an ophthalmologist. So he's an eye doctor. And Andy Jones, our drummer, went on to DePaul University he went to Northwestern in Chicago, and got picked up by composer Stephen Schwartz. You know that name?
No.
And Stephen Schwartz personally asked him to write the percussion book and be the primary percussionist for the musical Wicked.
Oh, wow.
And so Andy wrote the percussion book for that musical and ended up moving to New York City, and he has been, since Wicked opened in New York on Broadway, he's been the percussionist for Wicked, which is pretty wicked if you ask me.
Yeah, that's so
Wicked,
wicked.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, we
Wicked.
could have, but we lived in rural farm country Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
and for us going to Toledo, Ohio, was the big city, and Toledo's not really even that big of a city in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, there you have it. There's the highlight of Voyager.
All right. Voyager.
There
Thanks.
it is. All right. Is that the end of Rapid Fire?
That's the end of Rapid Fire.
Wow. That was not very rapid, but it was fire.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Okay, so next up we have the feature that we like to refer to as the main feature.
Main feature.
So the main feature is where Mr. Doug Van Pelt over here is going to cue up and play a song that I do not know, and I'm going to give it a live reaction to it on hearing it for the first time. And if it is something that I've heard before, I will tell you, but I'm sure that I haven't heard it before. Oh. So without a further ado.
Okay, this is another 11-minute song.
Oh boy.
And so it begins.
I feel like you're picking stuff with keyboards in it just to make me feel good about myself.
Just a lucky byproduct.
Has more kick drum than keyboards, though.
Mm-hmm.
shelter from the storm that rages on and on. The incorruptible foundation that the wise man builds upon. I am the bread that feeds a starving man upon the street. I am the bounty on the table in the palace at the feast. I am the rain upon the earth after a scorching drought. I am the quenching of the thirst you never thought you'd be without. That weaves its way inside your soul. I am the symphony, the masterpiece, the actor's greatest role. I am the poetry that speaks to you with every rhyme. I am the songwriter who seems to write your life in every line. I am the simple truths that shaped your world from your birth. I am the vast volumes of knowledge spanning all across the earth. I am the whisper of the wind you feel but cannot see. I am the Alpha and Omega, first and last, eternal. You cannot see me. The resurrection of the life that trusting child whose simple faith is ever sure. I am the parent's love, unchanging, unconditional, and pure. I am the loyal friend whose heart will never let you down. I am the hand that pulls you back into the boat before you drown. The thunder and the glory and the blinding light. I am the still small voice that tells you what is wrong and what is right. I am the sacrificial lamb, a guilty world reviled. I am the father ever waiting for his lost and wayward child. You can't see me. The resurrection of the life that's always and the hope I
righteousness hour and the fourth man you see in the midst of the fire. I am the giver of life and the promise of Israel. I am the hope of the lonely and lost, and the blood running down to the foot of the cross. I am the breaking of chains and the tolling of freedom's bell. I am the notes that eternally ring and the music too holy for angels to sing. I am the fire on the altar consuming the sacrifice. I am the free and yet I am the one in the grace of the Father and death of the Son. I am the one who redeems you by paying the highest price. I am the one who gives you ways I die. I am
Okay, wow.
11 minutes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a tour de force there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who were we listening to, and what's the name of the song?
That was Theocracy.
Okay.
They're from Athens, Georgia, and that was their epic song called I Am.
Okay, Theocracy, is that Matt Smith?
That's Matt Smith on vocals.
I'm learning.
There you go.
I am learning.
He sang on Neil Morse's
the
concept album.
The Jesus Christ the Exorcist.
Yeah.
He was on that. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, this makes some sense to me, and I don't feel like I was cheating because I didn't know the song and I didn't know who it was, but now that you say it, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but Matt Smith is doing a lot of everything on this recording.
Yes.
If not everything.
He's got a whole band now. I've seen them live. But yeah, in his very first album, he did every single instrument.
Okay. And this is on the first album?
No, this is
not.
This is well into the catalog, I think.
Oh, okay. He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
He's got such a great voice. And it was interesting, though, when he started out, his first verse was in his lower range, and he went down there, and I was like, oh, whoa, he's struggling to get that bottom note out. And I'm like, oh, he's going to kick this up. And then he did. The second verse, everything was up an octave, and then from there it was like screaming like a banshee, but not like a banshee, because his tone is so clear. It's crystal clear. In that high range, he's got that super powerful falsetto up in that high range, and I could tell that he was singing all the background vocals too. Super tight, super in tune. So you've got that, because I do a lot of my own background vocal stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And if you're singing one part, you're going to sing the next part like it, and the phrasing's going to be so tight because you know what the phrasing is. You don't have to learn somebody else's phrasing and try to match it. You're just doing the same phrasing with different notes, and so it's just so tight and so clean and just really blends well together because it's the same. Right, so it's really great. What year is this?
This is As the World Bleeds album, 2011.
2011. Okay, so some of the keyboard stuff that I heard at the beginning, I was like, I can't place this. I can't tell what I can't tell what era this is based on the keyboard, because the keyboard sounded older to me. And to be honest, I wasn't as impressed with that keyboard sound initially. And then it got into the other stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out what the genre is here. Because at first I was like, I heard the kick drums going, with the guitars going, and I was thinking, is that a thrash thing? Is this thrash metal? And there was like, no. And then all of a sudden it was like, maybe this is symphonic metal. I was like, this sounds really kind of sweeping and symphonic. And then I was like, well, no. Then it got into this other section where it was definitely prog. And I was like, okay, so he's kind of all over the place with these large, sweeping themes. In fact, so it was really impressive, because he was doing a lot of things in there. And one of the sections that stood out to me, a couple of them. So there was this one section in there that he went to the 6/8 kind of feel, and I really felt that had like a Celtic kind of influence to it, which is always fun. It's an uplifting kind of moving, driving kind of a feel that I kind of equate with Celtic music. And then there was this other section where he did this vocal layering thing. And I'm going to talk more about that during Crash Course, but the word is polyphony. So we'll come back to that. Not to be confused with polygamy, which is completely different. Completely different. Now, if you're going to write letters, write them to Doug Van Pelt at thecriticandtheprofessor.com. If you're going to send fan mail, you can send that directly to me. Okay. So yeah, no, I thought it was really great. It was a great usage of. Now, the beginning of the song was in E flat minor. And why is that significant? Well, because guitars tune themselves to E, and E flat is a half step down and really difficult if you were to actually just try to play the guitar in E flat. It doesn't sit on the guitar that well for you. You'd have to go way up high on the neck to get that E flat, because E is down here, open strings involved. So my suspicion is that they tuned everything down a half step, and so he's playing as if he's playing an E, just like I explained with Oz Fox and the Surrender solo, which that song Surrender is also in E flat minor, is that they're tuning their guitars down a half step, and that does a couple of different things. It gets a slightly darker sound, but it also means that the high vocals don't have to be like put you in the hospital high. So I think that that's what's going on there. But later on in the song, he comes back and repeats that same kind of that melody feel. First it's here. And then later in the song, it's ding, 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 ding. And then even later, it's ding, 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 ding. It's like, okay, so cool. So you're going ding, 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 ding. So he's using these different keys to do the same idea, to give it new life and a little bit of breath. Now, personally, I think that doing a key change just for a key change's sake, like Celine Dion does in most of her songs, is just a cheap device. But if you're using it really fairly quickly to go between different key areas and instill some interest in there, I think that that's an effective use of changing keys. It's like you don't get to the end of the third verse and then go, poof, key change, and then do an entire verse in that new key change. That to me is a cheap device. But the way that Matt Smith uses that in there, I think is pretty brilliant, actually, and very, very clever. It's almost in the same vein as doing a sequence, which is taking a musical idea and doing it at a different pitch class like this. So. Right, which is just that 1, 2, 3, 5 idea, but you're doing it in lots of different places, which makes it sound really complex and cool. It's the same idea. You're just doing it in a different starting area, so that's called a sequence. Super cool, super long. And I have to say that I was having a conversation with Larry Dean of Triton just recently, and we were trying to figure out who some really, really great people would be to try to collaborate with. And Matt Smith is one of the names that Larry came up with for me. And so I did actually just last week dove in and listened to a little bit of Theocracy stuff, and I'm super impressed with the guy and his body of work, and would love to hear from him if you've got an ear to talking to him and all of that. I'd love to hear more about what he's doing and share with him. So yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, what a talent.
There we go. Fantastic. All right, so that has been the main feature.
Main feature.
With Theocracy, and the name of the song again was?
I Am.
I Am. The Great I Am. Great stuff from Matt Smith there. And now I guess we should hear a little bit of Behind the Mic with Doug Van Pelt.
Behind the mic? No, not that one. Behind the mic.
Is this thing on?
Hey, that's me. I don't have a lot of background history to tell you about Matt Smith. When HM Magazine went out of print, Theocracy had a few albums already done, but I was kind of, not doing a whole lot. And then when Ghost Ship came out in 2016, that's when I caught the Theocracy bug and just fell in love with his voice and his songwriting ability and his playing, and got to see him live in 2017. Went to see him in Houston with Millennial Rain, and he's just a phenomenal talent, like a wonderkind, talented.
A wunderkind.
Yes, in so many levels. He could, as you pointed out, he could do everything, play every instrument. And
Yeah, he's kind of like an Eric Gillette in a way.
yeah.
Yeah, just does it all, and does it all amazingly well.
And what a voice. I mean, my goodness. It sounds so good. I'm a big fan. And definitely think, like to hear him collaborate with more people like he did with Neil Morse on the Jesus Christ Exorcist.
Have you done any interviews?
Not personally. We've had him in the magazine.
Had him in the
but
magazine.
I haven't talked to him myself, so looking forward to that first time.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
Come on. We got an episode,
Yeah,
or we've got
yeah.
an issue coming up here in September of is it the 41st anniversary?
Yeah, the 41st
issue?
anniversary issue of Heaven's Metal Magazine. That's what I'm working on right now.
Awesome.
I was going to talk about that
All right.
a little bit.
Very cool. That has been Behind the Mic with Doug Van Pelt.
Yeah.
Behind the mic.
Is this thing on?
All right, so tell us a little bit more about this anniversary issue that's coming out.
Well, I just wanted to give you some real-life feedback. Working on the 41st anniversary issue. It should street date on September 1st. So I'm working hard at getting that written, laid out, and to the printer, and sometime in August. And just got an email from a publicist of one of the bands that I was going to put on the cover and have lots of pages devoted to. And their management was playing hardball with me. Says, well, we really want to be on the cover. And I've got a backstory that when I decided, I did some exploration, who's coming out with music, who can we cover in this issue? And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, Galactic Cowboys. I've wanted them on the cover for such a long time. One time back in the past, I felt like I got rooked by their manager, and I met with them in Nashville for the Gospel Music Association Week. Sat down with them. They told me about how their new album, Conspiracy Number 5, was going to be so heavy in parts, and Sam Taylor, who helped invent King's X and Galactic Cowboys and Atomic Opera, the Houston sound, he was producing that Third Day album. So I thought, man, if he's producing and they're telling me it's going to be hard in places, and they're a rock band, they had some Southern rock roots to them, and so I put them on the cover, and I had Galactic Cowboys as an inset. And looking back, I'm thinking, HM had expanded and evolved over time, and we weren't called Heaven's Metal anymore, and some metalheads thought we betrayed them. So putting Third Day on the cover was kind of an exercise in showing how far our coverage went. And I looked back and thought, man, I should have just flipped them, put Galactic on the cover and had Third Day as an inset. But love the Third Day guys. The Third Day guys are so proud of being on that cover because, Heaven's Metal or HM had a authenticity to it that CCM didn't give you. CCM covered, wimpy little music as well as a little bit of hard music and some hip hop and stuff. They covered the whole range of contemporary Christian music where we specialized in hard music. So it gave them some nice authenticity to their rock and roll sound. But so I really wanted to get Galactic Cowboys on the cover. So when I found out that they're going to release in July, I thought, oh, that's perfect timing. I'm putting them on the cover. And so this other band was playing hardball with me. Some bands will say, we'll give you an interview if you put us on the cover. No cover, no interview. So that's what happened. I just got a text while we were recording an episode. And in between episodes, I was able to read the text from the publicist that they're very sorry, but they're not going to do an interview with us. So that happens in journalism, folks. People will play hardball with you. You've noticed that I've avoided saying the band's name, and because that's called getting along with people and playing for the long term instead of getting all upset and raising a stink over a minor setback.
But you know who you are.
Peter's my tough guy. He's gonna do my tough. He's gonna play hardball for me. But so that's what happens
Jeff
sometimes.
Galooly, you.
You get you run into that, and in their defense, they want to put their band in the best light possible.
Sure.
And if they've got that leverage, they're going to use it. And it comes down to when you play hardball like that, there's going to be a time when you cross the line and say, okay, the decision's been made. We're not going to do it. Maybe they'll change their mind when they realize I'm not going to come cowering to them and say, oh, please, I beg you. I'm going to turn my back on the Cowboys and put them on the inset again. That's not going to happen. But anyway, just wanted to give you a sneak peek into the business dealings of a rock journalistic magazine.
Wow.
What can happen behind the scenes. But we've got tons of stuff. One of the features, and we're honoring, is a guy named Bjorn Stigson. He was in a band called Leviticus, another band from Sweden. And after Leviticus, he started a band called XT. And Retroactive Records is re-releasing all three XT albums. We're going to have a discography. Chris Gatto is going to do another discography look where he's going to comment on every album in their catalog. And he's worked on a project called The Kingdom with a singer for Narnia and a couple other guys that have been working together and wanting to do this for years. And that's getting released around this time, late this summer as well. So it's going to be a big feature on that. And the stories are coming in now. I just did an interview with Monty of Galactic Cowboys last night. And they really like the cover that I designed. I designed a cover of what this issue is going to look like so I could show people this is what we're doing. And for me, it was just kind of a filler cover until Monty took my idea of doing a painting and having that be on the cover. And he showed me the painting last night on camera. It's just a gorgeous painting. It's very landscapey. So I'm going to use that for the opening spread. Like a 4-page cover story on Galactic Cowboys. The opening spread is going to be this painting of the band. Monty Colvin's this brilliant artist. This is some of his artwork right here. This on the back is his artwork. He used to do a column in the magazine, and one day he wrote me into the strip, and I'm using his paintings of me as for the book cover. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be an exciting issue again.
Very cool.
Should come out September 1st, not too long after this podcast airs.
Oh, that's really awesome. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the little bit of contribution that I'm able to give into that effort as well. And it's fun times here at Heaven's Metal and the Critic and the Professor. All right, what else have we got to cover here on episode 12?
Well, we have this crash course.
Oh, crash course.
Crash course.
All right, so wearing that professor hat that you have given me. So Crash Course is the segment where I'm going to talk about music theory a little bit and try my best to put Doug to sleep. It's only happened 3 times out of the 12 so far, and he didn't even know that he was asleep, but he was just like a little drool coming out of the side of his mouth, and he was
just like the illustration,
just like that, and knocking stuff over, and so I'm going to see if I can do that again today. Okay, so the word that I used earlier with the Matt Smith "I Am" song was polyphony.
Yes, it was.
Poly means more than one. All right. Phonic means sound. So polyphony is more than one sound.
Okay.
So he's got this section in here and where it's these vocal layers. He starts out with one and then he starts layering something else over top of that. And he's kind of it's kind of like what don't want to go into the pop world too much, and I don't know too much about his catalog, but Ed Sheeran, you know, what he does with looping, right? So he'll play something and then hit the looping pedal, and then he'll play something else over top of it, and then that will add to it, and he'll hit it again, and then he'll record something else on top of that and add to that. That's polyphony, because it's like different lines that work together in all of that. And Matt Smith has this really great section in that I Am song where he's using vocal polyphony to create these little interesting rhythmic nuggets over top of each other, and then he layers something different in there. And that's a very prog move as well. Neil Morse does that a lot. Especially in if you know, and you asked me about a Neil Morse song that I was like gaga for before, and I kind of waffled on that, but I'll tell you, and this just popped into my head, Author of Confusion. And that section in there where he's going, author of confusion, and then he starts layering all of these different intricate things on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's polyphony. So that's what's happening there. It's that you've got one line that goes, and then you repeat that line and add something else to it, which is a different kind of melody, a different harmony that creates harmony and creates its own rhythm set against that, and they're often playing off of each other. And that stuff goes all the way back to the Baroque era with Bach. And even before then, polyphony was a thing with the motets of composers like Palestrina, that are, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years old, is taking individual lines and weaving them together to create the sound of the music. Today, we do music very differently. We think chordally. We think about chords, and we just play different chords on top of each other instead of crafting lines that work together. And so going back and getting into that polyphony is really, really stepping way, way back into our music legacy and history as a race of human beings. And it's not doing something new and innovative. It's actually doing something very complex, but goes back to the root of where we got harmony. The Gregorian monks and all of the motets, which is usually choral music, which has like 4, 6, 8 different vocal parts going. The way that they wrote them is they wrote them as individual lines, and then they wrote the second line so that it would fit with the first line, and they used techniques based on there's a real old book called the Gradus ad Parnassum. Gradus ad Parnassum. Do I have it on my shelf right here where I can grab it? Maybe I do. Give me a second. I'm going to look.
Off to the library.
Maybe I have it here. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So, there's a couple of them here. Okay, so there's the Study of the Fugue by Alfred Mann. There's that one. But this is the one that I wanted to tell you about, and it's called The Study of Counterpoint. And it is from Johann Joseph Fuchs, Gradus ad Parnassum. You see that there? And this book is fascinating because it was translated into English from, I believe the original was Latin. Whoa. I think it was originally written in Latin. I'll dig into that and go into a note here. But there's all these rules in counterpoint on how intervals have to react or act with each other so that they're not dissonant. So there's passing tones, and all sorts of different things that you can do, but you want consonance and dissonance to work in a very specific way or the church is going to reject it. In other words, we talked about the devil in music, the tritone, right? So avoid the tritone, all of that stuff. But so this stuff, the way that they constructed harmony was by writing lines using these rules, and then it would result in triads. It would result in, but they got there linearly rather than vertically. So they're writing lines. Interestingly enough, when I was at Berklee College of Music in the early 90s, I was there 92 to 95. I was studying jazz composition, and I took a jazz counterpoint class there, and it was right at the end of an era, and I didn't get to take his class. This is one of my regrets of my time at Berklee. The first year I was there was the last year that Herb Pomeroy was teaching a class called line writing. Now, Herb Pomeroy was very good friends with Duke Ellington. And he went and looked at Duke Ellington's chart writing and his big band writing and studied that and then taught people that technique of how to write. And Duke Ellington did the same thing. He didn't just write chords and then say, okay, we're going to have a G chord here and then we're going to write and hang all the notes below the melody on a G chord and put them on the different instruments, the alto sax, tenor sax, bari sax, the trumpets and the trombones and whatnot. He didn't do that. What he did is he wrote these lines to create these melodies and then made those lines work in a way that they landed in the right spot at the right time. And so it's a completely different way of approaching harmony. Are you coming at it through writing melodies and then writing a counter melody and then writing another melody? Or are you coming at it by just writing the chord and here's the chord? And so a lot of pop music today is just and that's just chordal writing.
Yeah.
And so that's coming at it a completely different way from polyphony. So there's polyphonic and there's homophonic. So homophonic means one sound. Polyphonic means multiple sounds, more than one sound. And so polyphony is always very interesting to me.
Yeah.
And Matt Smith did a really good job of that in his I Am tune. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been polyphony in Crash Course.
Crash Course.
And there you go. You get to a little bit more know about Johann Joseph Fuchs and the Gradus ad Parnassum, which is this book is a dialogue. It's a back and forth dialogue between this fictitious guy named Josephus and his student named Aloysius. And they're talking about how to learn music and how to learn the study of composition.
Yeah.
And that is really what music theory is. Theory is the gateway to composition and understanding composition. Now, you can compose and do all of that without knowing the theory, but if you know the theory, man, it just opens up the world for you.
Yep.
There you go.
Good job.
Nerds.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Did I put you to sleep?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Not quite.
Shucks.
Yeah. Good thing we have this coffee.
That's a good thing that we
Yeah.
have this sparkling coffee.
Yeah.
Very good. And it tastes even better in these mugs
Yeah.
for some reason.
Where can you get these mugs, Peter?
Well, you could reach out to us at herulestheworld.com, and we might be able to come up with something for you.
All right. Maybe.
Maybe, baby.
I wanted to talk about my book here, Rock Stars on God.
Do it.
I mean, my goodness, it's got like 24, 25 artists. Yngwie Malmsteen.
My
says,
fave.
Hey, you're interrupting my tennis game. So let's get this going. Literally, he was on his own tennis court. Dream Theater have interviews with 3 of the members: Mike Portnoy, James LeBrie,
nice.
and John Petrucci.
You know, I bet you that Yngwie plays pickleball now.
I bet he does. Hey, you're interrupting my pickleball game. How long is this interview supposed to last?
Hey, Yngwie, if you're out there and listening, I want to play pickleball with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many good interviews in this thing. I mean, just good on the Brother Kane. There's 2 interviews with them. Great White, the
Nice.
band that had the
Yeah.
incident with the fire in the club. Machine Head from San Antonio, Texas, in the bowels of the Alamodome
Nice.
at Ozfest. We argued and debated evolution. Fear Factory. Talked about why this guy mentioned pornography when he was being interviewed on stage at the Foundations Forum. Cinderella, Scorpion, Savatage, which is the early part that made Trans-Siberian Orchestra, is interviewed here. This has like a hidden, lost interview that was never published until this book. Like several pages, several minutes of the interview where Paul O'Neill just went into in-depth about art, what makes good art, great art.
Wow.
Creed, Alter Bridge, Black Sabbath, Queensryche, Living Color, Dangerous Toys, right here from Austin, Texas. This interview was done at a Denny's restaurant.
Nice.
Def Leppard interviewed Rick Allen, the drummer for that band. Foreigner, Lou Gramm, who is a believer in Christ, does worship music.
Awesome.
Sepultura, Anthrax. I got a birthday. They have a thing where you can get a celebrity to send you a video on your phone, and Chris Gatto sent me a Max Cavalera of Sepultura this year. Said, Doug, 75 years old, keep rocking. Kind of funny. Slayer, Tom Araya, the lead singer for Slayer, and Prong, Tommy Victor. This was the big tense moment, this interview. But anyway, I'm biased, but this is a great collection of interviews.
No.
Available at hm-press.square.site. I can put the link up here, and you probably like this book if you're into music.
There you
That's
go.
all I can
And
say.
I would say get volumes 1 and 2 as well. Volume 3 is pretty stellar, but they're all in there, and I would definitely do it. All right, what else? What else we have to do here?
We thanked our sponsors.
All right, thank
It's
you
time to
to-
say goodbye.
Did we thank our sponsors? Thank you to Sanctuary International Matrix
Thank you,
and Pastor
Sanctuary
Bob.
International
and,
Matrix.
Like and subscribe all of their stuff. Keep up with us on Facebook and make sure that you check out Rex Riffs.
Do that.
There you go.
Consider subscribing.
Consider it.
Get a video on your phone 3 days a week.
Do it.
Start your day off with Rex Carroll's Shred.
Yep. We would absolutely love to hear from you as well. So don't be shy. Drop us a note on Facebook. Comment on some of our stuff, and we will comment back. And people are starting to do that, and it's really great. And we love the feedback. So thank you very much. It's been episode 12 of The Critic and the Professor. We'll see you next time.
Hang loose.